process of changing the alternator out, and y'all will be seeing the whole process. Let's begin. As you see, the tools that you would need are 1/2-inch tools, ratchet, the socket, and a wrench, open end, box end. These are the tools that you would need. Okay, the first thing is to safety first, and is disconnecting the battery. It's very important to disconnect the battery. You don't want no kind of charge or anything going through the system when you doing anything electrical. So we got the you can either take the positive side off or the negative side as long as it's disconnected. I like taking the positive side off. Some people take the negative side off of the battery, like the negative side, but I just take the positive side. So safety first, so make sure you disconnect the battery before you attempting to do this job. Okay, here's the alternator. The alternator that we will be changing out, and it been giving me problem. And these are the bolts that you had to take out to release the alternator from the bracket that's holding it. It's 2 in the front and 2 screws in the back, as I shown you on here, and you just use this the ratchet to like unloosen them. So we unloosen the bolts, the front and the back. There's one in the very back that's kind of hard to come out, and as you see, I'm showing you that you have to disconnect the alternator also. Got the belt off, all the screws out. And it's the one screw in the back that we have to have to get out. If you can see it back there, I got the it's kind of hard to see. It's in the very back. If you can see it right there, this is kind of like the at the very bottom of the back of the alternator, the back of the bracket that hold the alternator. This is a different angle. You see, I got the extension to kind of like help me get to it a little bit better as I'm working, loosening up. This this back bolt is one of the difficult bolts to get out of this alternator. So I got it loose. Now it's time to pry the alternator out. I got a little tool to kind of like wiggle the alternator out of the bracket and loosen it up. As you see, I'm loosening it up. And here it comes. It's coming out. It's the old alternator. I will be going in there getting a new one. And this is the new one. Looks similar, but it's a little different. Just went out in AutoZone and picked this one up. I'm about to install it right now. So you got to get it in a really good position. Move a couple of hoses out the way so you can set the alternator back on the bracket. Kind of difficult using one hand and holding the camera also, but I'm gonna get it done. All right, got it in the best position. Everything lined up. Now it's time to put the screws back in. Also, as you see, I'm plugging the alternator back up. I'm showing you make the connection back. Make sure it's in there proper. Braden. All right. Going to the next thing is the starting off with the bolts in the back. Before you start with the bolts in the front, just get those ones in the back started first. As you get the bolts started in the back first, then you can start with these long bolts in the front. You can line them up first before you torque them down. Just line them hand start the bolts. The shorter bolts go in the back, and this is the one to go in the very back of the alternator, the very back, and the one on the bottom. As I hand start them in, so the alternator can sit proper inside the bracket. It's kind of difficult to put my hand in this tight area, but I'm gonna get it done. We got it hand started, is in there. We get the camera down there so you can see it. Kind of difficult to see it, but it's in there. Got my hand right on it, right there, and you just hand start it, and then go back with the ratchet or the wrench, whichever best for you to tighten it down. Still, the bolts in the front, the two bolts in the front, we got to get those tightened down. Also, it's much easier to use the open end of the wrench to like do the top bolt, because the hose is right here by the alternator. So that's the purpose of using the wrench in this case. That is more easier to get to. It might take longer, but it worked pretty good. So as y'all see, I'm tightening the back bolt down, the very top one, to get it started first. All right. You got the ones in the front tighten up, one in the back, and the one in the very back bottom. Now it's time to put the cable from the battery to the alternator on the back. You just place it on there with the nut on the back of it, as I show you right here. Just hand tighten it. And come back with the after you hand tighten it, come back with the ratchet or the wrench, whichever you want, and finish tightening it down. This is the power cable, the one that the alternator get to recharge the battery back. So it's very important that you have a tight, make sure it's very tight and on proper.